Hello, guys. Welcome to another interesting episode of the Jakpa Diary. As you already know, my name is Menah, and today I have a very wonderful and a rare guest with me on the podcast. So I'm sure you already know that. So I did not say I'm with me. It's we don't have why you're here today. But anyways, we have Hussein with us today on the podcast. Hello, Hussein. Nice to have you on the podcast.
Thank you for having me today, and looking forward to talking with you because I feel like there's a lot I haven't really said about my own Jakpa story,
Uh
which
huh.
everyone would like to hear.
Uh-huh, interesting. I mean, see, he's already talking to you guys already about his Japa story. He's excited to be sharing his, ideas and experience with you guys on podcast. And we're happy to hear it. I mean, that's why we are here. That's the entire purpose of the Japa Diary. And very quickly, if you're just joining us on the podcast, if you're just coming across this podcast for the first time, this is the Japa Diary. What we basically do is share our experiences as immigrants abroad here in the UK, just because we are based in the UK, but majorly these experiences cut across every part of the world. So basically, that's what we do on the podcast. We hope you enjoy it and take that time to do what? Like the podcast, share, and subscribe. So today, we're going to our first question, as we typically do on the podcast, Hussein, is to ask,
Yeah.
what is your Japa story?
Okay. Um, for me, I came in 2020. That's I'll say about 5 years ago. And when I think back in time, time flies.
It
Like,
does. It does. I
you
mean,
know,
considering when we're in COVID and where we are
yeah,
today,
yeah.
almost like that didn't happen.
It's like I'm here for 5 years. But yeah, here we are. So for me, coming to the UK was at 2020. The whole Japa thing wasn't really trending then. It
Buzzing,
was
yeah.
more like you went abroad because you wanted to, you already planned that you were going to do a master at some point in your career. So ever since we were young, my mom has always said, she would like for us to go abroad to do our masters because I'm not the only child. So
Of course.
sponsoring was for our undergrad abroad would have been very expensive.
Yeah, yeah, of
So
course.
we're always looking forward to a master's. So it was planned, to
Okay,
a certain
so
extent.
kind of in your own case, it was planned with your family. It
Yes, yeah,
wasn't like jack for you because we've had a guest, sorry, on the podcast who kind of differentiated between jackpa and relocation. So the jackpa is what people are majorly doing recently, is like getting out
yeah,
of that country, like every opportunity they get. And relocation is like, okay, yes, we plan to leave and we left in. So your case seemed like it's more
yeah.
of a relocation story.
For me, it was just like I just wanted to. I didn't think about relocating. I didn't think about changing, like moving out of Nigeria. I just wanted to do a master's abroad.
And
Like
go back.
I wasn't too fussed. Like it was just let's try it first. Because my mom is a big traveler. She's been
Mhm.
around the world. So and I've been opportunity to travel with her, at some point in time. I've been to the States, I've been to some other countries. So my mom mostly frequents the States and the UK, mostly London anyways. So she's like, when you guys are growing, I want you to travel, go to the States, go to the UK, see where you like. So if you want to stay abroad, fine, you can decide on your own. If you want to come back to Nigeria, you can decide that on your own as well.
Okay.
But just having a taste of that and then deciding what you want for yourself, that's what exposure is what she was always
She
wanted
wanted
for
for
us.
you guys.
Yeah. So, and she did a PhD abroad as well. So I happened to, we went to the same uni she did a PhD for my master's.
Wow. And
Yeah.
history we've got there, guys.
Yeah, so I also came from immigration like some years back in 20, I don't want to come to here, but sometime
Yeah.
20, mid 2015, 16, thereabout. I came for a graduation. So I'd been to the uni, I'd seen around. It was nice. It's a place I would like to come to. So when it came down to it, my mom was like, okay, you're done with your NYSC, you worked for a bit, okay, and you like, I want you to go do your master's now. I thought she was being sarcastic at first, until I started saying the financial commitments. I was like, this is my serious, so
Right.
yeah, so though I'm good, I came in 2020. I'm here, I started my master's, then COVID hit. So
So you were already here
yeah,
before
COVID
COVID.
hit. The lockdown was March 2020. So
Yes.
I'd spent 2 months in uni and everything before COVID hit.
So
And
that
then
must have been the January cohort.
yes,
Okay.
so it was like going from being in class to everything being fully
And from
online.
home.
So it was boring, but then I just went to stay with my family. I had my auntie lives here. We had kids and everything. So I just moved to our place and we were enjoying COVID together as a family. And then I was doing all my schoolwork from the house, because then there was no uni again. So fast forward to when school went back into session, we went back. They tried to manage the whole situation. Social distancing was so common, wear mask, everything. So I shall, shall finish. Yeah,
Wow. So interesting. I mean, before we get into like further details, I mean, that was really nice. Good insight into, how you came about being in the UK. It's quite interesting that in your own case, it was family driven. Like
yeah,
it was already there within your family. The idea of, going abroad, seeing other places, experiencing new places has always been like you've always been around such environment as opposed to what we've seen these days where, people are actually leaving for greener pasture for the
yeah.
purpose to find a better life. And that quite distinguish you from, some of the guests that we've had on the podcast. But it's quite interesting. I would still ask you, and I know you did mention like when you were young, you followed your mom, you've traveled to several countries. But then, I mean, coming to the UK as an adult, considering you've lived majority of your life in Nigeria, you see what
Yeah.
the environment, the culture is like. What was it like for you, coming to the UK? Forget, yes, you came to school, but what was that experience as an immigrant in the UK from 2020 till this time?
Well, one that I would like to really state is that come here on holiday and living here, they are two
Two
different
different
things.
things. Wow.
Like you can't even put them side by side
Okay.
because you're here, you're chilling, you're at one family person's house, or
You're
if you
feeding you.
actually live here, your parents, you're paying council tax, you're paying bills, you're paying everything. It's a completely different ball game. One of my aunties was like, "Ah, she came for holiday. She was like, UK is so nice. So, it's so nice to move here. You people are enjoying it. Like, since you came here, have you paid once a year?
Still,
No. You just wake up, you eat, you go out, you enjoy. You don't. The reality is not facing you. It's we
don't know
that we
you,
are paying the
yes.
bills that we know what's actually happening. So it's a big, eye opener coming here and actually living here, working here, and everything. So while I was, doing my masters, wasn't I had not really gotten into that
The
proper
system.
lifestyle
Hmm.
living here because I was still studying then. But when I started working, that's when I knew the value of pounds. You know, First, the first job I did, I worked in a warehouse. I feel like for most guys,
Oh my God.
when you need to sign attendance with warehouse work, you need to.
You just need to. What does it teach you? Is there a lesson? Is there an
It's just
impact
like
of actually?
it's just like how most women, sorry to cut you off, most
Works.
women tend to like do support and care,
Yeah.
but most guys kind of prefer to do warehouse work. It's not easy, but it's like I don't know, maybe it's ego, it's convenience for us. It's just okay for us. We just don't mind it. As
No,
opposed
but
to
maybe guys are not just as sympathetic as the women.
probably, I mean, never did care or support,
Okay.
so I wouldn't know exactly how it is. So I don't have comment to compare warehouse to. But from a lot of people that have done it, I know that a lot of guys do warehouse. Yeah, and it was just so easy to pick and shift here and there. So I did my first job in one warehouse, and after that, it was like, you know what happened to me? Me that had not worked before,
What was your first shift
I
like?
booked 12-hour shifts. I was like, it was an eye opener. It was 6 p.m. to 6 a.m. So when I started the shift, though, my leg started paining me. You know,
In
let me speak Yoruba. Did she share?
Nigeria, but it wasn't that strenuous.
Iṣẹ́ office.
Okay.
When they sit
What
down,
did you like for your desk and AC and everything and
I thought they looked the time. How many hours? It was me and my friend. I was like, wait, you tell me, say, we go dey here till 12 a.m.
it
I
will
mean, till
be
6 a.m. Say, no, I don't know. Sha, so don't let me complain. Let Sha keep doing the work. 1 hour pass, 2 hour pass. I say, wait, so all this work where I don't do now.
huh?
Yeah, how much was it? £8. Then minimum wage was too small, was £8.72. Then
What?
I was like, so all this work where I don't do now. You're paying me £8.72 for 1 hour.
And then he still gets taxed.
I'm like, after that shift, I said, I told my guys, if you ever see me waste money again, hold my hair like this. I said, what is work? She said, what, auntie? I was like, you guys are nice. Oh. You can't 50 pounds and you ask somebody. 50 pounds. Did you know how many hours I need to do in my warehouse
You
before I can
about
collect 50 pounds? So it's like, it was an eye opener for me. I didn't finish that 2 hours. I left at around 10 o'clock or something. I went back.
wow.
To pay me, I couldn't, like there was not, it was just like just going into the
You
deep
just
end.
went into
Yeah.
yes.
So I
You
didn't
didn't get
finish.
someone
I
to
didn't.
give you like
Yeah,
heads up,
I
guys.
didn't.
Maybe you want to start with half day.
Exactly, I didn't. I left though. I didn't finish that shit. But that really made me appreciate,
Value
the
of
value of money
money.
generally. Like when you're working, and it's not maybe skilled labor. It's unskilled labor. You're actually working for your money.
Yeah.
Like you need it to be there. You need to complete your hour before anybody's paying you. So it was a big eye opener for me. I started being more money conscious. I wasn't wasting money. I think like I used to waste money before. It's like you still have some support from home, to send you small money out there, you're okay. You never have pictures before, you don't know how she be. I want, that was a big eye opener, sha.
Great.
Yeah.
Interesting. Like,
When let me let you speak. But the biggest eye opener for me again would be because I did two masters degree. Yeah.
wow.
Yeah,
Why is
because
that?
after the
Why
first
was
one,
that?
there was no post study. I mean, there was, but the government moved it forward a bit. Like it was supposed to start in May, and then they moved it to July, and my visa was expiring in May. So we thought we were gonna be able to apply for the post study. No, April, sorry. My visa expired in May. It was supposed to start in April, then they moved it to July. So I thought I was gonna be able to apply for it, but then they moved the date. So if your visa is not valid till July,
Till then,
you
you
have to.
wouldn't be entitled to.
Yeah, so a
Wow.
lot of my friends went back to Nigeria. Not everybody went. We could afford to do certain matters. And for me, it's not like we could straight up afford it because it wasn't unplanned. But it was more convenient because you need to just I found like a school that was fairly not too expensive because I didn't care too much about what I was doing. It was mostly about visa. And then you just have to make a deposit. You didn't need to show a bank statement.
Yeah.
If you've been in the UK for longer than 12 months, you don't need to show a bank statement. You know how we say
Yeah, of
proof of
course. Yeah,
funds in
proof of
Nigeria?
funds and all of that.
You
You were
don't need
doing that
that
from
in UK.
Nigeria.
So, and I was lucky that I found a course that was starting just before my visa expired. Because the
Beautiful.
rule is that you need to like a new course within 28 days of your visa expiring if you're going to remain in the country.
Oh, I didn't know about that.
Yeah, because if not, you have to go back to Nigeria and reapply, and you need to do the whole proof of funds and everything. So I
Lucky
found a
you.
course that was starting like me,
Mm.
so everything just
It just synced.
synced exactly. So my parents were like, "Ah, you could do like a PhD because I almost had a distinction in my master's.
Yeah. Hey, why don't you do a PhD instead? You look
I
like a
don't I,
geek
I
with your
don't like
glasses.
school.
You don't like school, but you did two
I'm a
masters.
chartered accountant.
So you're just any
No, let me work and make money. I'm not
okay.
an academician.
Oh, okay.
So my mom was like, you could try just straight PhD now. I said, no masters. I said, see, I don't do school. The worst I can manage is one more year of school. But 3 years, I will be on 20 hours with salary.
Yeah.
I can't make more than 20 hours money. And I'm in school. It's like a BSc, but a more difficult BSc. That's how I see a PhD.
Not necessarily
For
because I
me,
know people do teaching assistants, and I'm sure they
yeah.
do more than 20 hours as PhD student.
People that do teaching assistant, mostly in the States, but there's a lot of TAs in the UK. I mean, there's some, but it's like something that's trendy in the
Yeah.
UK. So for me, it's like I'm going back to school. It's more difficult than a BSc, and I'm not making enough money. And my field is more like you don't need a PhD unless you're trying to teach or maybe lecture. In my field, you need your certificates, having your ACCA, your CIMA, ICAW, those are what you need to really go far. PhD does nothing for you unless you're trying to lecture. So being very aware of that, I knew that I didn't want a PhD. If they told me to do a PhD, I'll go back to Nigeria.
Oh,
Yeah, was like, because then I wasn't too fussed about it. I didn't want to have to succumb myself to doing something I didn't want to do just to sort of like, I can manage one more year of masters. And my parents, they want me to come back home. It's like, don't say Nigeria. Because I feel like, okay, I've finished my masters. I have my economics, started accountant. Like, I get a fairly good enough job. That was my mindset in Nigeria. That's what I thought,
of
right?
course, like
But
I've already gotten the master's,
yeah,
gives you that levity.
and
I'm
also,
not
I'm not
gonna
like
do
the only
anything.
child. So I was like, instead of sponsoring me on the second masters,
Get
sponsor
someone
my
else.
siblings instead. Like, let them go abroad instead. As opposed to putting money into my own second masters. So, but then my parents were like, no, you're not coming home. Find another uni, start the second master. So I listened to them, which I'm glad I did now
Okay.
because being where I am now, the opportunity that I've gotten now, it wouldn't have happened if I didn't do my second master. Yeah.
Okay. Okay.
So, I don't keep. I'm not a quiet person.
You don't keep to yourself.
Yeah,
I
like
mean, a short
I'm
mouth would not get fed.
yeah, exactly. Closed mouth don't get, especially in this country.
Yes,
Like you will learn so much from talking to people.
I
So
agree.
just talking to people here and there, I found out about this internship called 10K Black Interns. So
10K
Black
black
Interns.
intense, guys. You might
Yeah.
want to look that one up. It might be
So
beneficial for someone out there.
yeah, so anyone currently doing their masters, what they do is they help Black people in the UK because they believe we're a minority, of course. They're
Hmm.
trying to have more representation of us in the corporate corporate world.
Yeah.
Yeah. So they help you to they help you, but you also help yourself at the same time.
Okay.
So they help you to secure jobs in reputable organizations
Okay.
where they will pay you as well, like it's a paid internship. You're
Okay.
not just working for the hours or
So
you know.
they employ you or get you to
No,
work with reputable
I'll go
organization.
into it.
Okay.
So basically, what they do is you prepare your CV, and they have different sectors whereby they try to put people in. So you write your cover letter for these three sectors. It could be accounting and finance, project management. You know, there's a whole list. So you pick the sectors that you're interested in from your first choice, second choice, third choice.
Okay.
And then when you submit your CV and your cover letter, you have to make it generic such a way that it could fit into, like your CV can fit into those three
Three
sectors.
rows. Yep.
But then your cover letters have to be very specific to the sector.
Okay.
So when you submit your application, then they would allocate you to different companies. So you get like three allocations for each particular sector. You get so companies would okay, they could allocate you to Deloitte because you chose maybe accounting and finance
Okay.
for one of the sectors. So now it's left to you to okay, some of the companies can decide to interview you, some can decide to reject you from just when they look at your CV
See.
and your cover letter, they can decide to reject you. Some can decide to send you assessments, all these graduate
Yes.
assessments.
Yes.
So a lot of people are thinking about job search in terms of I need to apply to this job. Don't sleep on internships. They're like they can for me, I applied to so many jobs. I didn't
Mhm.
get any entry level job. I didn't get a graduate job. It was an internship I got.
Wow.
You
Even though
get
you
what I
had
mean?
experience
Yeah.
previously.
Yeah, I'd worked for about 2 years in Nigeria before coming. So imagine, completely abandoning internships. I'm
Mhm.
not even thinking because you feel like you're too big for an internship.
Yeah.
You get so that's something that I was very open-minded. And when the opportunity came,
You
I
took
jumped
it.
on it. Yeah. So when I got the internship, I was still doing my master, my second master. I was rounding up. I was still doing my dissertation as I then.
Um.
So it was a case of as soon as I finished my dissertation, I just jumped on the internship. Like I submitted my dissertation. The internship was starting in the summer. I just started working. So it was straight up 9 to 5 for me. And it was remote, which was good. So they just sent me my laptop and everything. And I started working.
Lucky you. Were they
Lucky.
willing to sponsor, or you had to get on the postgraduate study? Like majorly, would you say those companies could potentially sponsor you?
They can't sponsor. They have the license. Sponsorship is not a big deal for them.
Yeah,
But the thing with
it
sponsorship
does.
is, what a lot of people don't know is most companies will not sponsor you. Depends. But they most likely will not sponsor you if you're entry level. Sponsorship comes with experience in a way. So it's like you have the experience you need, we give you what you want. That's what I tell people. When you're getting a regular job, don't focus on looking for sponsorship just immediately. Use that period to get experience. Experience is your leveraging power. But I have the experience you need. Give me the sponsorship I want. Don't carry your empty CV. You don't have any UK experience. And
And
thinking that someone will just hand you sponsorship straight away. Like what are you offering them? Do you understand what I'm saying?
well,
So
I
no,
do
you
agree with
can get
you.
graduate jobs can give you sponsorship, but they are very competitive. Today I never got a graduate job. That's how competitive they are.
Yeah.
So I basically got retained in my internship, and then I started working full time. So they're very competitive. So not everybody's gonna get a graduate job. So don't just bother yourself. Just focus on getting experience. Don't worry about sponsorship
Yeah.
when you start your graduate visa. Just work on getting experience, any form of corporate experience you can. Then when you have like for me now, I did get sponsored at Pearson. I did my 2 years at Pearson. And I'm currently sponsored by my current company,
Okay.
which I just joined like not too long ago. But throughout the time there, I was basically gaining experience. And that was the experience that I used to get into my
Me
second
too.
company now. So imagine if I didn't have that experience. You get sponsorship would have been more cumbersome to get.
Of course.
So the big takeaway is that just focus on getting experience. So my one is apply for go for and wide. Don't focus on only like entry level graduate jobs. Look into tick every box. Apply to internships, apply to graduate jobs, apply to entry level, apply to experience roles too. For me, I was playing a numbers game. EJ. Anyone that ticks, I didn't care too much
Okay.
about if I didn't get anything, if it was like a entry level job, I didn't mind that as well. So far, I shall got something. That was my own goal. I wasn't too forced. I just
Yeah.
wanted to get something.
Yeah. It
You
was
get
more of that experience for you, the first
yeah.
experience,
Let
the
me just
first
get
job.
something. Let me just get something.
Okay.
That's what I was keen on.
Okay, so moving on from Pearson, what happened? Where did you move to? Because I know you've talked about, even here on in the studio, we've called you a financial investment banker, which I know you say you're not an investment banker, but how have you moved on from Pearson, taking that experience, that first experience, and getting to where you are at the minute? You said you've just started a new role about a couple of months ago. So tell us
Yeah.
about that.
So basically, while a person, I just started thinking long term. So the thing is, like I said about experience, but I didn't think because I was still entry level. I don't think maybe they wanted to really sponsor because given the new requirements, they need to pay you a lot more now to sponsor you. You know, it's a bit dicey with companies nowadays, and sponsorship now seems more like a very big investment. So I didn't think, getting a feel of my team and manager, I didn't think it's something that they were very keen on. So me just perceiving that, I started, looking outside. Like, and also, I'd already spent 2 years here. I don't think I want to stay any more longer. Like 2 years is enough time to decide whether you want to stay somewhere long
Oh
enough.
Lord.
So I was already thinking of, okay, what else I want to do? How do I want to progress in my career? So I didn't wait till last minute. I started applying like last year. I still had like a year on my post study when I started applying. So, and given my experience, you can really realize that job market is tough.
Tell me.
When I
I mean, we need to scream that out loud. I mean, we don't even need to. I'm sure everybody knows, particularly immigrants in this country.
Yeah. So for me, I was at that point in time where I was now more keen on looking for a role that would sponsor me, opposed to just any role,
Okay.
because I didn't have. It would seem like a hard time, but I didn't have as much time.
Yeah, but you
Um,
had something at hand. You still had a year, like you said.
yeah,
So
yeah.
it gave you that.
So if I didn't get this role, I was like, the company I would die on their neck. You guys will sponsor
You
me,
sponsor me by force.
even if I will have to kiss ass, I don't care. People will sponsor me, But on the other hand, I was exploring like other opportunities. I wanted to see. So starting early was I wanted to see, okay, the experience I have now, what can it get me
Okay.
in the job market? What can I get with my experience? So I started applying out, and when I tell people like on my LinkedIn, I have about 800 applications. That's just on LinkedIn though. I don't talk about Indeed. I don't talk about CV Library. I don't talk about like other,
But
recruiters calling me. I just keep applying. Yeah, I'm not a recruiter. My mind is set on something. I will keep going. And also because what's the alternative? You know. Then my perspective about UK is no longer I came here studies now. I need to find stay.
survival mode.
I need to find visa.
But
Is that I'm now in Jakpa. Do you understand? I won't go back like that again.
okay.
You get.
Yeah.
So like it was just applying. I did so many interviews. You get. So me being where I am now, it's more like it's God's grace because I'm very religious. I pray a lot. Where I'm now is fasting and prayer I entered into.
Hmm.
It's
Tell
not
me
just an
about it,
experience
brother.
all the midnight tajud, all the fasting, and people that don't know tajud, they just mean midnight prayer, basically.
Of
Just
course.
waking. We Muslims tend to do it.
Of course.
Wake up in the middle of the night, we pray, and there's just that really pious feeling, and you know that you're really putting your all in asking God for what you want.
Yes. You put
That
in the work, you ask God, and then
exactly,
you go
yeah,
relax.
So
Um, I asked the questions, you write the answer down.
okay,
Once we're done, we exchange pads,
okay.
call out the answer, the market, and then we'll see how we fare.
Let's see.
Okay, question one. Which country are you visiting if you are in the Taj Mahal? Write down the primary colors. Question three. What does GDP stand for?
Did you say GDP?
Yeah,
GDP.
GDP.
Huh. What's this?
That is so unfair. Sorry.
Is it
Why?
financial question? GDP. Ah, we just know what it means. We don't know the full meaning. Oh,
Question four. Which two colors make up the flag of Denmark?
oh God.
Make up the flag of Denmark.
Yeah.
Two colors, yeah.
Yeah. Question five. Which country invented tea?
T.
Yeah.
The
That's a
country
tough
that
one.
invented tea. Is it the tea bag now, or because I know there was one similar question. And then, oh no.
Options.
Yes.
Okay. Option A, India.
Okay.
Option B, China. Option C, Brazil.
And it's one of those:
Yeah, one of them.
China, Brazil, and India.
Okay.
Okay, last question. How many bones do sharks have?
Ah, problem.
That's a tough one.
Very. Ah, ah, what's the silly number that could be guessed? Because some mama also, well, regardless, they have both. Okay.
Yeah, my answer is probably very simple.
I'm like, I can't.
I think so.
Wait, what was the first question again? Taj Mahal.
Yeah,
Yeah,
what
which country
country?
is Taj Mahal located in?
Oh, okay. Should we
Okay, okay, you can explain.
exchange food? Not sure. Okay.
Question one. Which country are you visiting if you are in the Taj Mahal? India.
Oh, okay. I guess got it.
Yeah. Question two. Primary colors. Red, yellow, blue.
Red, yellow, blue. Not green.
No.
Green is a
Mix,
mix of two colors.
It's a
mix yellow
green
and green
to
to get
get.
So
yellow and blue to get green.
basically, I wrote all the primary colors, but I wrote more.
So no, like the primary colors are just those three.
Yeah.
Wow.
So he wrote three: red, blue, green, yellow, black, and white. And I knew black and white. Did I write? No, I know
You
red,
red, blue, and
blue,
green.
green, no yellow.
So what do we do in
We
this
both,
case?
we both. I guess we both. We both missed it.
You can go give yourself.
Okay.
Okay, that'd be nice today. Okay. Funny enough, I got the gross domestic product.
That's what them clear.
Eh,
Yeah, gross domestic product.
what?
You try.
In my head. I feel like I was in GDPR.
Alright, question four.
Okay.
Which two colors make up the flag of Denmark? Red and white.
I've been thinking about why too.
Red and white.
Yeah.
Oh,
So
you red and blue,
I knew it
yellow.
was white somewhere, but I just couldn't remember where.
Okay.
Question five. Which country invented tea?
Better be China.
China.
It had better
Did
be
I
China.
get it?
Yeah, you did. It had better be China.
Okay, last question.
1500. Like,
No, that's
How many
fair.
bones do the shark have?
yeah.
Zero.
I was gonna write zero. I had a hint of all the answers. I
All of the
just
answers, yeah.
I wasn't too sure.
Like I could picture Denmark in my head, and
Yeah, I could.
there was
I could
yellow.
see the whites in the
It's
flag,
like
but I could not remember. Okay, is it white or where's the blue somewhere?
there's blue somewhere, yeah.
That's what my head was telling me, but I don't think- it's just red and white apparently.
Okay, great. That was interesting, guys. Let's know what you think about those questions. Before you get to the answer, make sure you leave your own answer in the comment section. Back to our
I'm sure no one
conversation.
will get the shock.
The shark one. Well, you never can tell. Somebody might get it. Let's see.
Sure.
I get it. It was almost like is it extreme or nothing?
I knew
It
the
was
point
like a
actually.
0 or 1.
That was very sure.
Yeah, yeah. It was almost like a 0 or 1. But thank you very much. I really enjoyed that session. And yeah, back to our conversation. And I mean, you work in the financial sector. We always like to, share opinions, advice with our Jakpa people, like people who have left. And I'm big on investment, but I don't know what you think, like from your experience being a financial manager. You say it is not an investment manager, but a financial manager. What advice, based on your experience and work experience, what advice would you give to our Jakpa people in terms of when you earn, what you can possibly do with that money?
Yeah, so people see investments in different ways, and people have different goals towards their money. So for me, the way I see it is the most important thing is to keep your expenses low. So at least you can have some money to do certain things. So cut your code according to your size. Don't go and rent a house that's too expensive.
I could cut according to my size.
Uh,
I mean, my size is that big. I'm still over.
each to
Maybe according to your clothes. Maybe.
I think so it's like don't go get very expensive apartments such that you're paying so much for rent and bills and you have little or nothing to fall back on. You're basically living hand to mouth because then the pounds that you're making, there's nothing left for you. You're giving everything back to the UK
To
government.
the UK government, I mean.
Yeah, so keep it. That's my own. That's how I live my life. Keep your expenses low. Sure, you should take care of yourself, do some things, travel here and there. But when you're made like some non-negotiable expenses, you're gonna pay rent. That's a given. You pay lights bill, you pay water bill. So those ones, they're fixed, but the rent particularly is the biggest part of it. We don't own houses here. So whether you like it or not, you pay rent. So when you keep your expenses low, you have spare money to do whatever you want to do. And believe it or not, a lot of people don't really have enough money to save in this country. Like when you remove your rent and whatever is left, there's not so much money to save. So, but when you have some substantial amount of money, then you can start thinking about, okay, what can I put my money into? But first, having that money to even want to be able to save, to be able to say, I want to have some money. Okay, what can I put it into? You know, that's the issue at first.
So it starts with keeping your
Keep your
expenses
expenses
low
low.
to be able to have
Yeah,
that
so you have
consistent money to put aside,
yeah
which accumulates into
into
something
something,
big.
then you
Then you can look
decide.
at investment.
So the different things you can.
Okay, great. Such insightful tips there, guys. So, like you hear it, the first thing is, and I think it takes a lot of caution and what's it called, discipline, to
Yeah,
be able to keep your expenses low in this country and think about your future. What are you investing? What are you keeping aside for yourself, for your kids? I
yeah.
think one other question I would like to ask you is saying is,
Let me just add something to
yeah,
the investing your money part. I'm not an aggressive saver, and I say that because the way I do my own finances, once my money comes in, first thing I do, I remove my expenses, my rent, my savings, and like if I'm say I want to go on a holiday, I'm gonna start saving maybe £50 or £100 towards that on a monthly basis. Once all of that is done, whatever is left for me, that's what I spend in a month. I could spend it finish. I may not, spend it finish, but like whatever I left, I put it back into my
to
savings.
your
So,
savings.
but once I remove the savings, the rent, everything that's fixed, once I remove that, whatever is left is well money to Jai. That's how I see it. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, like that's how I see it. So if I spend it all, fine. If I don't, because well, maybe spontaneous, I don't deny myself some things. If I like something and I want it, if I know I can afford it, obviously nothing outrageous, of course, if I know I can afford it, I'll buy it. If I need to be into my savings a bit, then I might make some few compromises here and there. But I try to be very fixed with my savings. Okay, this amount going into my savings, and I know that one is not negotiable. So whatever is left is where I play around it, basically. And that comes with keeping your expenses low. Then you have some money to be able to do whatever you want to do with. Because like my friend would say, let me speak about why you care, why because if you don't get money, you can't do anything.
Of course.
Travel, you can't travel. You will just be working and paying bills back to back. And that's not the kind of life that I want to. Because time flies very quickly, and you realize that you've been here for a couple of years, nothing, you're not traveling. I mean, not like traveling is mandatory, but like you've not experienced anything. All you do is just work. And the money, where's the money that you're working for? I mean, unless you're really seeing the impact of your money, you're very content with what you're using your money to do.
Mhm.
Because some people support family and they support a lot of people, and that's very valid. But at least the work that you're working and the money that you're making, be confident that's going somewhere at least. And whatever, if you're very okay with whatever you're using your money to do, then that's fine. I have like a side whereby I do a bit of a real consultation.
Okay.
So if there's anybody here that you've been struggling with the job search for a bit and you need some guidance, reach out to me. I will leave them home contact details. And you might call me if I charge you, I beg you, charge you, but because it takes time.
Yeah,
It takes
it
time.
takes work, so
Me
if the
sitting down with you.
guidance will cut down that time.
Yeah,
Oh, by all means.
yeah, I'm saying like it's time for me to help you with what I'm
Oh,
gonna
okay.
help you with too. So if we're gonna sit down, we're gonna talk, we're gonna look at it, we're gonna look at LinkedIn, or teach you how to go about interviews and everything. I'm very busy. I mean, I'm working at an investment bank. It's a very like we work long hours. I don't have the time to sit down with somebody and just they're taking my time and I'm not asking. You have to pay me for my time. Because what I know is they don't come to me. There's a lot of doing research, there's a lot of putting myself out there, to get to where I am. So I don't charge a lot, sha. If you want to know, we can, on
You,
one on one,
yeah, you
have
can
a
reach
chat.
out to the same.
And so the thing, everyone is on a case by case basis. Some people you just need to nudge them in the right direction.
Oh, yeah.
You don't really need to do so much for them. Some people you might need to do a lot more. There's someone that I work with. He didn't have a LinkedIn profile. His CV was so old in this. How do you want to, he said he kept getting unfortunately. And I'm like, I want you to get unfortunately. Like, just look at it.
If I see this your CV, I'll put it aside.
Exactly. For some people, you might not need to do so much. Some people, you need to just move them in the right direction. So it's on a case by case basis, and that will also determine like how much I will charge you as well. So if anyone wants a bit of guidance, maybe they've been trying to navigate the UK job market, they just feel like all the odds are against them. I don't promise anyone sponsorship. I don't promise you a job, but at least it just makes you know that you're shooting your shots with your like you're putting your best foot forward. You know that she was trying to leave,
Yeah.
and now she's still working there for some time now. You know, and she's progressing, moving to a different company and everything. So it's what you have. You know, you never know what you find.
Great. Thank you very much for such, insightful advice that you've just shared right there. I think it'll be very useful for even for myself. I'm going to take that on board and it'll be useful for somebody out there. And like Hussein has said, if you need any support, we're going to leave his handle down below. Interact, reach out to him, and let's see how he can help you. If you're here abroad, like if you're here in the UK, or you can even be in Nigeria, you never can tell. I mean, you could support someone to be able to get a job in Nigeria. There are good companies there as well. So it's
Of
just it's
course.
just from what angle you're looking at it from. But thank you very much. I think it's been a very great conversation with you today on the podcast, and we couldn't be more grateful to have you here. Thank you. And if I just recap, there were like punchlines of conversations that we had that I really, really hold dearly. And starting with is when you said when you talk about the school and navigating, making that decision to take a second master's degree. It's just doing what you have to do to get what you want. Not everybody would see that. Someone might be like, oh, that second money, I would rather just go back to Nigeria and, start a business or something with that money. It's just
Yeah.
that projection, that planning. I think there's a lot of planning and orderliness in your life. I would say that from where I stand, it does look like that. And I think everyone needs that orderliness and plan in their life. So, guys, if you're out there, project forward, look at what you want for yourself, have a plan. How do I want to go about it? Talk to people. You did mention that as well,
Yeah,
have
need to talk to
conversation,
people. You,
talk
you
to
never know.
people
You discover gems from speaking to
from
people.
speaking to
Like people will
people.
expose you to so many things.
Exactly. So don't be closed mouthed. Like closed mouth.
Yeah, a lot of the
So
opportunities I have in my life, like where I've gotten to,
people
is
introduced you.
from someone. Me. If I'm looking for a job, everybody around me will not looking for a job. Everybody will be. Yeah,
Like
because my friend, when I moved cities one time, I was like, I told one of my guys that they find job, but there's one warehouse job, hook me up, and I started working. Immediately, I didn't have to spend so long looking for a job, But if I didn't say anything, and nobody would know what I'm going through, nobody would know like what I need to the point that you find someone that can help you with that. So I'm very vocal about the things I want. Very, very.
great, great. That's true. Another thing was keeping your expenses low. We did talk about finances, how you do with your finances, keeping your expenses low, having savings, and then exploring what you want to invest in
Yeah,
as you move forward. We talked about credit card, your own stance in terms of taking credit. I mean, there are credit opportunities that you could explore depending on who you are, your religion, what you believe in, just do what works best for you. But in the end, like it is your call to make,
yeah.
get the right guidance, and would. We hope you've learned one or two things from our conversations today. If you enjoyed
Hopefully,
this podcast, we implore you to leave your comments, engage with this post, engage with it, share it with somebody. You might just be helping somebody with this podcast today. Like Hussein said, if you need support in terms of getting someone to hold your hands while you navigate the market, trying to get a job, reach out, send it to someone who this might be helpful to, and I'm sure you'll be glad you did. As always, would implore you to like the podcast, share with your friends, hit that notification bell, and we'll see you again on the next episode.
yeah.
Jakpa.
Yes.